announcements, and I'm glad that you guys are here. Without further ado, we're going to bring our owner, our OP, Albert Meggers up. Let's give him a hand.
Okay, first order of business. I know there's a lot of people in the hallway, so let's give them some room and let's get in here. Let's have some fun.
Get in.
There's tons of open seats. We can come on in here. There's seats over there. Look at all that space between Troy and Jillian. All right. So I've got some really fun stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and it was really important for me to come up here and do that in person. This is going to be one of the bigger sales meetings that we've had this year, and I really meant a lot for me to come up and do it myself. But before we get to those announcements, I want to put all of those announcements into context and talk a little bit about who we are, where we are, and I'm really happy that we have a lot of guests and folks from outside the company. We are going to brag a little bit about ourselves here, but well, you'll see we've got a lot to be happy about, and I hope you can go through those brags and just come along with the ride for us, okay? So here, this is the market we've been living in, right? 2003, the first 3 quarters of that year, we sold about $336 million in real estate. Not bad. But do you smell this in the room right now? Do you smell something? That is the smell of $500 million in our future, in total sales as a real estate company. We're 371 for the first 3 quarters of the year.
My goodness.
Now, this is interesting. On the other side, though, we sold 2,032 homes in the first 3 quarters of 2013, but in 2014, we've actually sold less. You guys are probably familiar with this idea. There's a few less homes selling, right? But the prices are going up. So take a look at this. 2011, this is our average sale price as a company. This isn't just the market. This is actually what we did. $146,000 was the average sale price when we closed 2011, the whole year put together. Then in 2012, we went up to $149,000 in average sale price. Then something happens. 2013, we closed the year at $167,000 in average sale price. And then we end up this year, so far in the first 3 quarters of this year, we're at $199,674 is the average sale price of the homes we sold. Okay. So that's what that looks like if you put that on a chart going forward in the future, right? So what happens if that trend continues? So it's kind of like one of these deals where you see the road in front of you, and let's just assume the road is straight. That puts us at an average of $235,000 next year. And keep in mind, that's an average, right? So that would mean that we'd have a lower number in the beginning of the year and a higher number at the end of the year if we hit a 235 average. So let's make this interactive a little bit. There's only 3 things that can happen next year. We can have a crash and we go down. We could level off and go forward at about 200, or we could get to 235. Ooh, back. Now I know what was happening. Let's go through this again. And I don't have to wait for the slides to come out. You good stay? Good. All right. How many people think this is going to happen? I knew you were going to do that.
That won't happen. 2 years out. 2 years out.
Phil, I've missed you, man. Okay, so we got. Anybody else want to jump on Bill's team on this one? Who wants to get in here?
I'll do it. I'm on Bill's train.
Yes. All right. Okay, who thinks this is going to happen?
I think it's probably pretty much.
Wait, actually raise your hands.
You can't
Okay.
pick both.
Wow. Okay. Who thinks this is going to happen? Barbara? Come on, own it.
I know.
60% of you guys are going to be wrong. Just be okay with being wrong. Because anybody who thinks they know what's going to happen in the future is lying. Okay. I think it's going to be somewhere in between these two. I don't really predict it. Rates are low. You know what, right now, I've heard this a lot. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's up with the market? Like, it's a little slow right now, right? Have you guys never been through October before? Like, for 7 years. Like, people go to school every year at the same time, right? Most people don't buy a house after they just put their kids in school. I mean, every year, every October, it's the same deal. It's like, oh my gosh, what's happening with the fall? And it's always in the middle of October. So I felt like you guys needed a little pump about, where we are in the marketplace. That right now, it's a cycle, right? We go around the sun, things happen in a pattern. Okay. All right, so let's do a little thought exercise, because I think the most interesting thing is, what happens if those prices continue in the direction that they're going in? Or what happens if we start selling more houses, right? So, let's say, for example, we go back to the same number of units that we sold in 2013, right? So our units come back up, but prices stay the same. Look what that does to our revenue next year. Okay, now this is all the real estate that we're selling, okay? Direct correlation to commissions. Now, let's say we have a 10% increase in units. Look how much real estate we get to sell in the first 3 quarters of next year. 446 million in real estate next year, compared to what we're doing right now. And let's say there's a 10% appreciation in price, just $20,000. Now we're at $500 million in the, oh, don't give it away. now we're at $500 million in the first 3 quarters of next year. If any one of those 3 things come together, the amount of real estate that we're going to sell in 2015 is going to have a very interesting correlation. Check this out. The average sale price in 2005. Did you guys realize that at the peak of pricing 10 years ago, at the top of the bubble, is that's where we are right now. I actually had to go back and look at this number again, because I actually didn't think this was true. I thought maybe the reports were wrong. In 2005, in January and February, we had approximately the same average sale price that we do as a company right now. I didn't see that. So if we have appreciation right now, we're dealing with 2005 prices. Now, what happens, of course, there are tons more homes selling back in 2005, right? It was a big, big market, right? No, but there were not more homes selling back then. There was 4,900 homes selling in 2005. We've become so jaded because of the markets that we've lived through that we forgot to celebrate when things are good. That's the honest truth. We were like, a battered wife. It's just like, it's always going to be bad. Like, I don't remember. Until you finally look at this and you say, wait a minute, like, if we stay in this zone, okay.
We're still getting
that's
over the
really
battered
connecting
wife.
with some people who are worried about that. I'm sorry if I pushed some buttons. I'm really sorry.
Donate to them. It's
All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the zone of the units, okay? We're in the zone of the prices. I am telling you here with full understanding that people say stuff about the future and they're always wrong. I've been wrong a bunch. I personally am putting my bet that 2015 is going to be the best year in real estate that we've seen in 10 years. That's my opinion on the situation. Fun fact. Did you know that we're about, as a company, half the size of TCMLS? We almost sell half the real estate that TCMLS does. That's because we're in Porterville and Hanford, of course. We're actually about 1/3 of the marketplace. But if you took our company, we're not quite there, but we're about 50% the size of TCMLS. Another fun fact, we have the largest agent count of any Keller Williams office in Central and Southern California. There are more agents that work here than any other Keller Williams office in our region.
Wow.
We are the #1 recruiting office. We don't talk about this stuff anymore. Now this stuff is all happening behind the scenes. We've added more agents to our office than any other Keller Williams office in Central and Southern California so far this year. Fun fact. You guys are going to remind me to clap on it. Okay, so now let's talk about how our escrow division is going. We've got 2 years of history. We hit 50% adoption for the first time 2 months ago. We crossed the 50% mark.
Nice.
Our trend is going up like this. And guys, here's what that looks like compared to the total opportunity. I think I'm just too far away, is the problem. This is where we are still, and this is the total business we're doing, right? I'm talking to people who are involved in profit share right now and the people who are going to get into profit share. I promise you guys, there are rainbows and unicorns here. Can you please be there next year? It's amazing. It's the promised land, and we're almost there, okay? If there's anything that we can do to make that a reality next year, talk to me. I want to do it. Any ideas, okay? It's a wonderful, wonderful place if we can accomplish this. We'll be one of 3 offices in California that have pulled that off. If we get above 50 into the high 70s and 80s. I want that for us bad. Okay, so you can imagine, so me as an owner, I feel pretty good about this. I mean, you got to admit, we're doing pretty good. The folks, I don't really have much to do with this at this point. All of this stuff is happening because of the amazing people that are on our ALC and that run this company. And so now, I'd like to talk to you about what I wanted to talk about when I started this whole conversation. Oh shoot, I almost forgot the profit share. Psych. Minor note. Notice we did the escrow thing 2 years ago. Profit share is up to $146,000 so far this year in our office, right? By the way, that's not the 4th quarter. That means we're on track to hit 170 by the end of this year. That means, what does that look like when we get to 2015? So are we going to be ready for it, right? Now the announcements. So I'd like to, for the folks who are new with the company and the folks who are just visiting, I think this is going to be a good exercise. I just want to take you through our company and how we're organized. It's going to take 30 seconds. First, we have our wonderful business center administrators. Destiny Garcia in Hanford, Tanya Osborne in Porterville, and Renee Jensen in Tulare. The business center administrators are combined with Christian and Brittany, agent services and director of first impressions here in Visalia. And can I just get a round of applause for this? Okay. That is what we call our staff. The staff reports to the MCA division. The MCA is Jason Garcia, with the assistance of our assistant MCA, Carly.
Woo!
The MCAs report to the team leader, and then you have this ugly guy up here on top of the deal. I think I've taken the hotness level down about 30% or something. It's a pretty attractive group, I gotta admit. All right. So that's kind of what we look like. I did forget one person though. We do of course have a broker, and that's always a question, like how does the broker fit into it? So the broker is kind of outside of the organization. They don't report to anybody. They're our oversight. So they look after us, keep us accountable with making sure that we're following all of the rules in the community. So I'd say the broker kind of like sits over there on the side. It was better than image not available, right? Okay. So let's have some long overdue announcements now. We're going to be making some changes. The first change, and this might be the longest overdue promotion in the history of overdue promotions, effective immediately, Carly is the MCA of Keller Williams Tulare. Oh my gosh. It's confusing up here, guys, trust me. Okay, all right, so we got Carly. There's another promotion we got to talk about. Okay, you got to admit, the last 7 months with Kevin have been beyond some of the best that I've ever had. It's been a wild ride. And so I want to do something that's the first in my career at Keller Williams, is that effective today, Kevin Blaine is being promoted to the assistant operating principal. That's the first time I've done that in my career, is to have somebody on board with me as operating principal. I'm really looking forward to that. In business, numbers are the language of business, and these numbers say that you rock, sir. Okay? All right. All right. I'm going to find out how well I keep secrets right now. So the next and latest announcement, and this is one of the biggest developments in our company this year, the new team leader of Keller, Williams, Tulare County, Jason Garcia. So let's hear a few words from Jason. You know, I kind of put him on the spot at the last minute. So you have anything you want to say?
Pump me up first.
Give
Pump me up first.
me some love.
Give me something good to watch.
You know, I was like, okay, do I fill Jason's bucket now? I mean, guys, in the history of our company, has there been any more of an anchor, any more of a person that was the glue that held us together? And think about all of the changes of the roller coasters of everything that we've been through as a group. And through all of it, Jason has always been just this stalwart person who is the rock that you can lean on. And he's been working forward. I remember when I first met Jason, there was something different about the guy. You know, his AVA is actually almost identical to Gary Keller's, the guy who founded Keller Williams. Isn't that an interesting little tidbit? And so now, but he doesn't show up that way. If you met Gary Keller and Jason, I mean, they're very different in the way that they show up. Jason's so warm. Gary's not that guy. Anyway, but what's been the most fun is, if I think about Jason and the things that really distinguish him, it's his ability to improve himself. Like, if that was the one thing, if I said, okay, wait, what makes this guy a complete freak of nature, right? In the best way possible, right? It's his ability to constantly reinvent himself forward. I know you're going to get me for that one somehow. Just to continue to improve and improve and improve. And that's the thing, because anything about being the team leader of the Keller Williams office, the best thing about it is the opportunity to grow yourself. Because as the team leader grows, the company grows. That is Jason's rare and unusual talent. And it's going to be such a fun ride to experience what Jason's going to do with us.
Mm-hmm.
Now comes the hard part, right? So, I think I'm going to tell you a story about how I came to Keller Williams and how I started to know you guys. About in 2001, 2002, I started my own business in web development and web design. In 2001, 2002, who knew what websites were and vice versa? Who would think that a website would do anything and vice versa? You know, the business wasn't there. I had a little baby that I had to take care of, and so I started looking for a job. And I saw an ad in the paper, MLS coordinator, tech savvy. Okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm tech savvy, so I'll go do that, sure. So I meet with Carl Hampton. You know, Carl Hampton, very stoic, very stern. I was a little cocky. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's me. Sure. You know, I bluffed my way through it. Carl gave me a chance. Gave me he took a shot on me, which I'm very thankful for Carl. And Carl's always been a mentor to me. And those of you who know Carl know how stern and stoic he can be, but yet he's a funny guy. I think I'm kind of like that too. I'm pretty funny. It's more on an intimate level. So after being there for a while, it's like, okay, I started to sit on these committees, get to know the agents, and what really struck me with the agents is how much they cared about each other, their community, their businesses, and being on those committees really instilled this sense of belonging. And as I grew, I got to know a lot of you. A lot of you went through the committees with me, and I was there. And I went, wow, I really admire these people. I wanted to start my own business. You know, the cards weren't out, they didn't play out for me. So I admired you guys and like the tenacity you guys had to go and start your own businesses. So I really found a respect for you guys, and I really enjoyed helping you guys. I love seeing everyone here succeed. It's great, July capped, right? And July can tell you how many likes she has on that post. I love that. I definitely love that. So I love seeing people succeed. So fast forward a little bit, Keller Williams comes to town. Keller Williams has just changed the game in real estate. When I was at the board office, I would see, by the way, I started when it was the Visalia Board of Realty, so I'm a little dated, so it's now the Florida County Association of Realtors. So when I was there, we would see these new agents come in, and they would be flailing for help. What contracts? What do I need to do? What's this? What's that? And I felt for them because they had no support and no guidance. Then Keller Williams comes in. The agents that came in were nothing but positive about Keller Williams and what they had to offer. I remember Connie and Terry coming in and just, this is fantastic, this is great, and like, okay, you know, that was when the whole Kool-Aid thing was going about.
We drank a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot of Kool-Aid.
Good.
Yeah, thirsty Kool-Aid. Yeah. So I took notice, and then I was there at the board office for 10 years, and I decided there was time for a change. So I reached out to Brian, and Brian hired me. And if I remember correctly, I mean, from what Brian tells me is Brian told Albert, dude, we got to hire this guy. We don't have a position for him, we just have to hire him. We don't know where he's going to fit in, but we have to hire him.
I'm embarrassed about my response to that.
Yeah. That's what you should be. I'm here all year. So with that, I got to, people say that you're successful as the people you hang out with. I got to hang out with Brian. What a great motivator, right? I got to hang out with Jillian. What a great just driver. She just, you tell her to do something, she does it. There's no question in her mind, she just does it. Got to hang out with Kevin Blaine, the most humble person I've ever met. He's just, you would have no idea in talking to Kevin what he's accomplished, because he's not going to be saying, look what I've done this, I've done that. You have to dig that out of Kevin. I've learned that being humble is a great quality in leading, and I've definitely learned that from Kevin. And it's been great to work with Kevin. And because of Jillian and Kevin, look where we are, 140 in profit share year to date. That's amazing. And that's definitely because of the results of Jillian and Kevin. And I played a little bit of that too, that's part of that. So here we are today. I just feel like this is a natural progression for me. I truly believe that I've been groomed and just grown and grown and grown into this. It's almost like a whirlwind of, okay, this is where you're going. It's just a natural progression for me, and I'm excited to take it on. So today, I was very humbled by all the remarks that I got from the ALC meeting. The ALC met yesterday to discuss me being promoted as team leader, and it was all positive, all unanimous. At least that's what they told me. So I heard there was an easy debate, or no debate, but I am very humbled, and what drives me is to prove all of you right. What drives me is to show you that believe in me that I can do it. So that takes us to the future. So what the future is, whatever the future is, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be here. This is my home. This is my second family. I'm going to be here for the long haul. I see myself nowhere else. I want to be here. I'm vested. I'm going to put in the time. I'm going to put in the effort. I'm going to put in the work to make this company even greater than it already is, for the associates and for the market center. So with that said, I'm honored to be your leader. And one more final thing that I have to do. I have to thank my wife. She's always been, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I told her, I'm an ugly crier. I can't.
You were right.
I really, really love you, and thank you for all your support. And thank you all for all the faith you have in me. And I'm honored to be a team leader.
That's all we got.
Wait, there's one more
something
big
else?
important thing that I'm sorry for missing this, but
Sorry.
I have to acknowledge Carly. You know, Carly has grown so much since I've been here.
You're gonna make me cry.
I hope so. Because then it takes it off of me. But Carly has been such an amazing person. She's such a hard worker. She comes to work every day, gets her job done, is positive, is great, and just grown in everything that I've seen. She's grown from when I first met her to where she is today. It's completely different. And you deserve to be she is the MCA. There's no doubt about it. She's always been the MCA. So I'm very happy for Carly. And with Kirsten, Kirsten has been, oh, thank God she has done it and had her baby and is back. Like maternity leave, who said it has to be 6 weeks? Where's she at? Get back to work. Jillian was here a week later. Yeah. So Kirsten and Brittany downstairs, just the super positive, super, it's just enlightening. Coming in that front door, it's just great to see Brittany coming in and just bringing everybody up as she comes in. And the escrow division, who gets a lot of, they get a lot of work down there, and they seem to just work through it, and they work so well together as a team. I go down there, they're laughing, they're talking, they're going back and forth, and it's just fun.
They're having wars.
They're having wars. Nerf gun wars or something like that.
Come on.
It's like, should I say So, you know, I just want to thank everybody's staff, Destiny, Tanya, Destiny in Hanford, who just owned the move in Hanford. We have a new office in Hanford, by the way, and they moved into it, and Destiny owned that role, and I very rarely had to get involved. She took that on and just ran with it. Tanya has been doing a fantastic job out in Porterville and Tulare. Renee's taken on the compliance aspect of the role, and she's done a fantastic job. So I just want to thank all the supporting staff as well, because I could not imagine this place without them. So with that said, that's my final thought.
Okay, that's what we got. My thing is to say, we're done. I hope you guys have a great afternoon.
We do have cake and cookies to celebrate our wonderful
Yay!
promotion
That's cool.
and Albert's birthday.
Wow. I feel like Oprah. It's like, you get a promotion, you get a